you're pretty remarkable when you can come out of prison better than you went in, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. And the background that you're mentioning is so common with the defendants that I see, maybe not to that degree, but almost every, and I say almost every because you get a subsection who purely have mental illness, who don't have any kind of trauma in their background, but they're the exception. The vast majority have either physical, sexual, emotional abuse, and that's where it all starts. Really, it's it's bad parenting, and when they see domestic violence, usually between the father towards the mother, they model what they see. But more than that, they feel, if they're physically, emotionally abused by their own parents, they feel kind of inferior. They have this inferiority complex, and they believe that every relationship in the future needs to have some sort of power dynamic. So basically, if you're my girlfriend, wife, friend, drug dealing partner, one of us has to be in charge, and it's going to be me because I know what it's like to be at the bottom end of the dynamic, and I don't want to be a victim anymore. So you can kind of understand why these people end up becoming so criminogenic and so aggressive all the time.
This is a very me question, so I apologize to my listeners because I'm fascinated by this. But do you think that, broadly, do you think that people think about how they think, you know, that metacognitive kind of thing? That, do you think people ever kind of think about the space between what's happening and their story about what's happening? Do you think many people have that awareness?
Sure, it's a good question. I can answer that. I think the vast majority of times, no, but sometimes eventually, if they've been through a cycle of their life up and they go in and out of prison many, many times. So that you might have heard the term antisocial personality disorder, right? So it's similar to being a psychopath.
Yeah, Tiff's got it.
Slight difference.
Stop it.
I'll be the judge of that.
Literally.
There's a big overlap, but they're very similar. And so just very briefly, they're people who are impulsive, aggressive, they lack empathy, they don't care about the rights of other people. So they, almost by definition, because they don't have empathy and they don't care about other people, they are not very introspective or reflective in what they do. But when they're, say, 20s, maybe 30s, but when they get to their 40s and 50s and they've had 3 failed marriages and they've got 10 kids that won't speak to them, and they've been in prison more than they've been out of prison, then finally at some point they think, not there's something wrong with me, but there's something wrong. Well, yeah, there's something, even though I don't care about the rest of the world necessarily, there's something that I'm doing that's damaging my life. And I've still got a little bit of time left, so let me spend those last few decades not going in and out of prison. So let me change. So I suppose people, well, I'm talking about offenders, not the general public. Dangerous offenders at some point in their lives often will start becoming introspective. But you could argue that, sadly, it's quite late on.
Doc, are the words sociopath and psychopath interchangeable or not?
No, so I've, just to do a quick plug of my YouTube channel, I've got a video about this, which I'll send you afterwards. So I'll tell you the difference. So psychopath is a clinical term, so I can diagnose somebody with psychopathy, and so can other forensic psychiatrists. Sociopath is more of a kind of informal social term. So if you asked 100 different people, they might say slightly different things, but the differences would be that psychopaths are really good at blending in. So you don't know a psychopath is a psychopath initially because they're charming, they're very deceitful. If they, some of them end up being career criminals, some of them end up being CEOs of companies, a lot of them work in media. And the first few times you don't think there's anything wrong with them. It's only after a while you kind of realize that they've extrapolated or exploited what they can from you, and they've never helped you back, or they always talk about themselves, or if they're in the corporate world, they've maybe stabbed you in the back to get that promotion. Whereas a sociopath is still lacks empathy and all those other things, but is not that good at blending in. So a sociopath will lose their temper, they'll be a lot more impulsive and aggressive, and they still will exploit you and manipulate you, but you can see it coming a little bit. So that's the difference.
And in case you're interested, everybody, and you should be, because it's great, go and have a look. 𝐏𝐬𝐲𝐜𝐡 YouTube channel is called A Psych for Sore, which is very clever. A psych, did you come up with that yourself? A psych for sore minds. You did?
Yeah, I did. Yeah.
I was watching you and listening to a bit of you, and I was thinking, you are, this is my very judgy, but I think it's good. I think
here we go.
Like, what's at the intersection of science, creativity, education, and entertainment? You, dude, because you're kind of like a synthesis of all of that, because you're a good communicator, you're kind of funny, you're a good storyteller, but you're sharing science in a way which is not only understandable, but like really enjoyable. That's a skill. There ain't many researchers or scientists or academics who are great at that. So, sorry to my academic listeners, but it's true. You're kind of a little bit of a unicorn in this space.
Oh, that's really kind of you to say so. Thank you, Craig. I'm actually a failed stand-up comic. So I did about 40 odd gigs on the open mic circuit.